The United Kingdom will be deploying a large naval flotilla for a months-long voyage through some of the disputed waters in the Indo-Pacific. Let's talk more about that with defense and security analyst Jose Antonio Custodio. He joins us live via Zoom. Good afternoon, Jose. So this is the first time that the UK is sending a complete carrier strike force with stops in India, in Japan, South Korea, and Singapore. Also the first since the Falklands War in 1982. What kind of message is Britain sending to the rest of the world and to China?
Well, the UK, together with the international community that has joined this particular operation in the South China Sea, West Philippine Sea area, is sending the message that they will not tolerate any unilateral action by China to disregard international law. Okay? So the reason is that if they do not move at all, then it can send a dangerous signal to other countries that there is no more need to follow international norms and anything goes. And that's a step closer to conflict, actually, because this is not the only issue. This is not the only maritime issue. There are also maritime issues in other parts of the world. And if these countries will see that the Chinese are getting away with bloody murder in the South China Sea, then they will also not follow international standard, our laws. Like, so example, countries in the Persian Gulf can just shut it down. Okay, can just shut it down, close off that waterway and say that because it belongs to them. Libya can again say that anything in the Gulf of Sidra belongs to them. So it's those things that these countries that have sent task forces in the South China Sea want to avoid.
All right.
And now, send a very strong signal to China. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So my next question is actually related to that. What is going to be the role of the United States and other allied nations in this? Notably, Jose, there is an American destroyer with a missile defense system as well as a high-end Dutch combatant accompanying the aircraft carrier, the Queen Elizabeth from the UK. So obviously there's more than just one country involved in this.
Yes, in fact, the UK deployment here is actually a joint US-UK operation. There will be several flights of American F-35s deployed on the British carrier. The British carrier, which is actually the first fleet carrier of Britain since the decommissioning of the Hermes during the Falklands, right after the Falklands War. It can carry a complement of at least 40 F-35 fighters, which are superior to anything that the Chinese had. And this operation doesn't just send a signal, but it also is an opportunity for the U.S. and its extensive maritime network to interoperate with each other. So that's why I said that the UK deployment will also feature into operations with the American Navy also, and even maybe air forces in other in the Asia Pacific region also. So we have the British, we also have the French coming in with their own carrier also. And then, which is the Charles de Gaulle, which is the another fleet carrier entering. And then you have also the Australians coming in. The Japanese are there already. They've been there for, ever since they've had problems with the Chinese. So it's a multilateral naval effort that will possess the mightiest collection of naval might the world has ever seen since the end of the Second World War. And that is something that China cannot ignore.
All right. I don't know whether to say this is exciting or scary, but in terms of geopolitics, does this have anything to do with that vision of a global Britain that Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been touting about post-Brexit? Or is this specifically a response as an ally?
Well, this is, of course, a responsible ally, and given the fact that, well, one thing that we have to understand about these countries, they're not like us in the Philippines that we are like knee-jerk, we just love knee-jerk reactions, okay? In many of these countries, so the main
I love
reason why
this
they are
game.
advanced and that they have progressed is because of the fact that much of this are a result of decades of investment, okay, and sticking to long-term visions. Okay, so and one of the long-term visions is also to of Britain is to step up its commitment in the international order, and that is why. Aircraft carriers of this type were developed by the British government precisely because of the fact that um, they have to increase their share of responsibilities in the in ensuring that the international that the international agreements, especially in the maritime domain, are adhered to by all nations. This is not because Britain wants to relive its imperial glories of the past. Okay, that is a different Britain. Okay, it doesn't for purposes of colonialism. No, this Britain now is a country that is stepping up its participation in this effort, especially to tell China that what its actions in the South China Sea and West Philippine Sea area is totally unacceptable.
All right, definitely upholding the freedom of navigation that all countries have
Yes.
a right to. Now, the question is, will the strike force be passing through any areas in our EEZ, specifically the areas where there is Chinese presence?
Well, they haven't been that. The details, of course, are not that precise, but it's expected that they will be passing our EEZ. Of course, they're not going to be the Chinese that they're past our EEZ and then they're going to fish there, okay, and then drive our boats away. They're going to ensure that uh, that um, that China, stop its deter China in its harassment, okay, by showing that, okay, we're passing through here, what are you going to do about it? Okay, you're claiming this is yours, but it's not. So we're passing through here. We're going to, let's say, said freedom of navigation. So predictably, they're going to pass our areas, our EEZ, and even other parts of the, specifically, they might even go near the some of the vessels of the task force. Remember, it's not just an aircraft carrier, but it also has other vessels, and some of these might actually go near Chinese installations. And in fact, China itself might shadow this particular task force. And so you might have some exciting stuff developing, like, harassment by the Chinese and what have you. But it will be a different matter if the Chinese try to engage this force with violent means, because of the fact that behind this force, like I said, is um, a joint presence of the United States and the UK. So it's not just the UK that the Chinese will have to deal with. It's the US also, and then you have the Japanese and everybody else. I don't know with the Philippines.
That's
Maybe the
right. No,
Philippines will still think about it.
I was just going to ask you, because the palace has been maintaining and the president has been insisting that their approach with China is going to be soft, and that of course there is that argument that we can't go hard with China because we don't have the means. But this sounds like a lot of allies have the means and they're kind of backing us up. So how do you think Malacanang would react to this? Would he just take it sitting down?
Well, I think that we're basing it on what Lorenzana is saying, that they will come up with a presence in that area, especially in the parts um, that are ours, okay, and that the Chinese are intruding, okay. So most likely that there will be face-offs there, okay. It's going to be another matter if we are going to engage, participate in this multilateral FONOPs. That's an entirely different thing altogether. I don't so far we have not. I don't see any declaration of such that we would participate, for example, in the British and French and whatever countries' operations in that area. But as of now, we're currently undertaking our own operations in a way sort of supported also by the U.S. in matters of situational awareness. Much of our military depends heavily on American satellite information and other um, intelligence gathering means. No? So we will have um, overtly, we will have that a little bit of a standoffish thing, like, no, we're not going to do this, but we're there, deployed there. But unofficially, there will be a lot of cooperation between the Philippine side, the militaries, of course, of the Philippines and the United States, particularly, which will provide definitely intelligence on Chinese movements. Because without that, the Philippines will be operating blindly.
All right, so like you said, Jose, it's going to be an exciting next couple of months. What are you watching out for? And by when are you going to go on high alert, or just on your own, of course, watching the events unfold?
Well, basically, I doubt this will degenerate into a war. Okay, I'd be more concerned about the expected COVID surge in the next
Yes.
month or so. That's something that we should really be more afraid of than some outbreak of, because China it cannot afford to have a war in this time where it's practically inferior in all departments against the United States alone. Okay, what more against an entire maritime, an entire naval alliance, which is the mightiest the world has ever known since the end of the Second World War. So what more against that? China will be beaten to a bloody pulp. Everything will be set back, and Deng Xiaoping will rise from his grave and tell Xi Jinping, "I told you so." So that's why I don't think that that we really have to worry about this. Okay, this will be good. This just sends a strong signal to China that, okay, you can have the islands, you can have these artificial islands and what have you, but no, you cannot say that you own the South China Sea, and we're going to pass by here and tell you that that you can't do anything about it. Um, so that's more of the thing that we would see in the next in the weeks coming, especially as these European countries come in and operate in this area. Many of them, I think almost all of them, will actually be in close cooperation with the United States Navy. So it's media might report them as a German ship passes, or an Australian ship, or a French ship would arrive, but that they will be in very close coordination with the United States military, precisely because of the fact that it's the United States which has all of the capabilities and all of the information that is needed for these other countries to operate successfully in that area. Them and the Australians and the Japanese.
All
Exactly.
right.
So there.
On that note, thank you so much. I guess it will be a very exciting, quote unquote,
Yeah.
few months or weeks ahead. Thank you as usual for your time, your insights, and your knowledge. Jose Antonio Custodio, a defense and security analyst. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.